And so this is the new big upgrade, is we got a 1,200 gallon water storage tank. And this is just full of RO water. I mean, it is awesome. So super excited to have this set up. And let me get into just explaining how this whole system works. The first thing we always want to touch on are the reds. These guys are just gorgeous. There's just, you know, tons of them. There's already babies. This is only day one. And so super excited about these. And then this is one of our newer tanks. We just set this up with the blue dreams. So like, as you can see, there's some really nice blue ones in here. That's actually snail poop in the middle and mixed with some algae pellets. And the nearite snails, or nearite snails, however you say it. This is the black rose tank. We're starting to move them over to this room. And as you can see, there are a lot of buried ones too. And this order looks really good. We got so many oranges in this time. It is just absolutely unreal. Like, I'll just walk through and it's just tank after tank. Amanos. These guys are freaking crazy. These guys are like the hardiest of hardy. What is going on, shrimp keepers? It has been forever since I brought you an update from the warehouse. We have so much to talk about. We just got the import order in last night. I'm exhausted. We got tons of new shrimp in. We redid a water change system. So like, we have so much to show you. So you guys just need to stay tuned. All right, so the first thing I wanted to touch on is our new water changing system, which is an upgrade from before. We used to have these 3 totes way over there in the corner, and we moved it all over here. We moved the water and everything. Mark and Jeff did a killer job redoing this filtration system. So we got the RO unit, the booster pump, the check valves, everything like that, all right here. And then we got this whole system. I mean, it's kind of confusing, but once I explain it to you, it's not that bad. And so this is the new big upgrade, is we got a 1,200 gallon water storage tank. And this is just full of RO water. I mean, it is awesome. So super excited to have this set up. And let me get into just explaining how this whole system works. All right, so first of all, this black storage tank is RO water. And as you can see, the RO water comes down and it goes into this complication of valves. But it also comes down here and it fuels into all of these holding tanks. And we actually use these 275 gallon holding tanks to mix and remineralize the RO water. And so we can set it to the TDSM we need. We have our GH and KH out here that we use for the imported Neocaridinas. We got our 1 cup that we use to measure it out, and then we just mix it right in. And then we have it so that if we have this one on, and then that one turned off, so that this is just pure RO water in this one. That way if we over mineralize or whatever, we can kind of mix it all together by opening that valve. And then we actually have a pump down in here. This pump's right there, and it fuels up to this back line right here. And that goes up, and it goes into our new room. Now you can see we actually have the RO so that it could be plumbed into this line as well. And that way, if we ever have a problem where we need RO water in there opposed to remineralized water, we can, you know, do top offs or whatever. But usually what we do is we have this valve open, this one closed, and this one open, and this fuels into our RO line, which feeds into the other shrimp room, which we'll talk about later. But that's just a quick general view of the outside. Let's go on into the inside. All right, so this is where the remineralized line comes in. Above it is the RO line, which fuels over to the other room as we talked about. It also goes over here to where there used to be a big pond over here, or a big 275 gallon tote. We were going to use that to do top offs in this room, but we ended up changing the whole system. So if I go back to here, this is the remineralized line coming in, and just in case you're not following, this is it right here. And what we actually did on the ponds is we drilled into it. We got, what is this? I think this is 1/4 inch tubing, and it comes down and it fuels right into the side of our ponds. And so you can actually see it's right there. And then that's doing a water change. And then we got the overflows here, which does another, it just automatically flows out. So this whole system works really good. We got all the ponds set up on it. They have 2 valves each. And then all the tanks are set up on it too, which if we walk over here, you can see like our 10-gallon tanks only have normal airline tubing. So it's just normal size airline tubing. and that was still too much flow, so we actually put valves on it to decrease the flow. So they get about half flow. The 20 gallons get full flow. You see there's no valves there. And that's how we get water into here. We only have to run the pump for about 30 minutes. Oh no, I lied. We only have to run it for 5 minutes to 10 minutes to get a good water change in this room. And so it's really helping us speed up our process. And we actually did not drill the tanks this time. We actually used these German overflows. I know you see it on the King of DIY did a video on this, and it's just a really neat system. And I'll get more in depth in this, but basically all it is wherever this is, that is your basically your water level in the tank. And so it automatically overflows down this line, and the bottom one goes into it and into our drain. So we got our drain lines installed, and so the whole system is pretty much not really automated yet. We're gonna put it on a timer and run it 3 times a week, and just do 5-minute water change at a time, anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. But let me get into showing you guys a little bit about what we got in on the import. There's some really awesome shrimp, so I'm excited to show you. But let's get into that. The first thing we always want to touch on are the reds. These guys are just gorgeous. There's just tons of them. There's already babies. It's only day 1, and so super excited about these. Always excited about these. And you can just see tank after tank after tank. Like, look at these guys. Love them. So again, we quarantine all of our shrimp for 30 days. So even though we have these in, we won't be actually shipping them for another 29 days, because we just got them in yesterday. And so so they are on the website for pre-order if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, we do not sell them for 30 days after we get them. But we got all these bottom tanks full, and then over here we have a couple of our, this is one of our baby grow out tanks for the blacks. This is another tank for the blacks, a grow out tank. And then I believe this was some reds. Oh yeah, it is some reds, some grow outs of the reds. And then this is one of our newer tanks. We just set this up with the blue dreams. So as you can see, there's some really nice blue ones in here. That's actually snail poop in the middle and mixed with some algae pellets. And the nearite snails, or nerite snails, however you say it, they're doing really good. And you can see they're all up on this corner if it'll focus. But they've been doing really well in here. And the shrimp really like eating their poop, so that's a good symbiotic relationship there. So that's this tank. And we got another tank of them with a bunch of other nearite snails. And again, just love the color on these blue, or fantasy blues. They just really pop. Look at this guy. There's nearites. Gorgeous. So that's what we got going on in this rack. I love these guys. This is one of my favorite shrimp. You can see there's buried ones in here already. So let me zoom in. Of course. There he is. Or there she is. But yeah, so there's quite a few buried ones. So these I'm really happy with. And then down here we got a little bit going on too. This is the black rose tank. We're starting to move them over to this room. And as you can see, there's a lot of buried ones too. And this order looks really good. So our last order, there was a mixture between some on the verge of being chocolates and not having solid black. But as you can see, these ones, pretty good coloration. And here's another tank of them. And again, they're eating just some algae pellets. So loving these guys. All right, so the other thing I wanted to point out is we got this tank in. And I don't know if I did an update on this. I got it from my buddy that runs a wholesale coral business local to me. And he had this set up as just a frag tank, and it didn't flow with the rest of his system, so he wanted to get rid of it. And it had a lot of that hard coral or calcium buildup on the side. And it was all dinged up, like scratches galore. And he sold it to us for $100 with a stand. And I figured, we'd give it a shot, see if we can clean it up. And I actually got a video of Chet buffing the crap out of this thing. And it really came out good. I swear, before you couldn't even see into it. It was that hazy. And so he really did a great job. So shout out to Jeff. And I'll probably cue that video. We got Jeff over here buffing out this acrylic tank. This tank's going to be our new planted tank, we're gonna do like red root floaters in it, some stem plants, different things like that. Kind of just have fun with it. And I've been missing plants lately, so we're gonna get back into it. And so he's buffing out to make it look nice. And then we got a lot to show you. All right, so on this rack, we got more Blue Dreams, our fantasy blues, doing pretty good. This was the bag that actually came in popped and had no water in it, but as you can see, like, they're still doing good, which makes me happy. And so these ones are doing good. This is my favorite tank just because of all the algae. And you could just see, like, up here, that used to be caked on with algae, and they've actually been picking the algae off the glass. And so they're definitely eating it. So algae is a great thing for shrimp if you can tolerate it. But if you want to breed them, this is the way to do it. And so you can just see, like, they're just happy as happy can be, and just doing really well. I mean, we really haven't experienced many deaths at all. So this is probably our best import yet as far as survival rates. And then over here, we start the oranges. It's just, we got so many oranges in this time. It is just absolutely unreal. Like, I'll just walk through and it's just tank after tank after tank of oranges. But they're so gorgeous. Like, I love the way they look. Like, especially how they contrast on black substrate. And most of your planted tanks, they'll really stand out. And so these are one of my favorites as far as like a wow factor in a planted tank. And then down here we just have, like, literally just more and more and more and more, and then orange rilies, but then more. So we definitely have a lot of oranges. And just so you know, this is how we keep track of deaths. So we've had one death in this tank, you know, one death in that tank, and we go through, you know, 2-3 times a day and just check off deaths. So these guys have really been doing well. And then we got a group of carbon rilies. Look at these Amanos. These guys are freaking crazy. These guys are like the hardiest of hardy, and they're actually much bigger than they normally come in, so I'm excited about that. Up front, there's actually a buried one, which they're always cool when you see buried ones. But, you know, these guys need brackish water to breed. But maybe one day we'll give it an attempt. And then you got more carbon rilies. Again, these guys are pretty. You know, you don't see them too often in the United States. I don't know if it's because people can't breed them, or if people just don't want them, or what it is. But I really enjoy them. I like them, and so we definitely order them in, and they're doing good. There's some really pretty ones in here. And then these are some of our Amanos from the last import order. You can tell they're just much, much, much smaller. And so let me zoom in on some. So, like, keep that in mind, and then keep these in mind. So these ones are like twice the size, I'd say. And then down here we just have more of the carbon rilies. More of the carbon rilies. Again, they send us quite a few buried ones. And so if you guys ever order from us, you'll know oftentimes we'll send buried ones out just to help you get a head start on your shipping or on your breeding. And then also we'll send the babies as, you know, a bunch of extras. We'll throw in 10 babies or so. You know, whatever we catch in the net usually goes as far as babies. And then these are ones that have been quarantined already, and so they're still doing good. But again, you're seeing the algae starting to build up. You see the baby on the glass right here, and so they're doing good. So really excited about that. And then we still have a lot left for this room. Like, I want to get this full rack set up, and I believe we're gonna do nanofish over here. That's what I want to do. Now, will it work out? Will it not work out? I don't know. Looks like a cricket got in here, and it didn't do so hot. But yeah, so we just got to get this system plumbed. We already have it set up for the water change system. We just got to tap it in up there, and just really cool. So it's getting really exciting here at Flip Aquatics. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys the Caridina room, where like all the rare stuff is. A lot of stuff like that. I'm not gonna be showing it today though, but there will be a link down in the description. My wife Amanda did a video on Instagram. Feel free to go check that video out. And she did a quick walkthrough of all of our Caridina rack. And so you guys can get a sneak peek before I do next week's video and show you guys what's going on over there, because we got some really cool stuff in. We have some shrimp that are like $500 a piece. It's just really cool stuff that you normally don't see. And so I was super excited to unbox it. And so I know you guys are gonna be super excited to see it. And so stay tuned for next week's video showing what's going on in the Caridina room.